What's up, everyone? Welcome to Unmasked, where things are discovered, uncovered, brought to the light, and made known. I'm your host, Lamar Barrett, coming live to you from PG County, Maryland. If you're interested in finding out about the untold stories behind being a college coach, this is the show for you. Being a former assistant men's college basketball coach for 16 years, there are so many untold stories behind the scenes in the life of a college basketball coach. Now, let's unmask them. Today's guest is a young and bright assistant coach, who has a tremendous work ethic and a passion for his craft, and a Glen Arden, Maryland native. Let me talk a little bit about Branden before we bring him on. Branden is a Virginia Union graduate, definitely is a PG County, Maryland native, played at Eleanor Roosevelt, but then he graduated from Virginia Union in 2011. Before getting in the high school and AAU ranks, he went back to his alma mater for 2 years and worked at Eleanor Roosevelt High School, and also working with the Team Takeover, one of the best programs, not only in this area, but the nation right now. So he had a chance to do that for 2 years, and then heading up to Pittsburgh to be a graduate assistant for Jamie Dixon at University of Pittsburgh for 2 years, from 2013 to 2015. And then he left there and went to Manhattan College, full-time assistant job from 2015 to 2017. And then Presley for the last 3 seasons. He's at Towson University, working for Pat Skerry. So I want to welcome to the show a young man I've been knowing since he was a freshman in high school. I want to say welcome to the show, Branden.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, you know what, man? We're going to get right to it. We're going to get unmasked. And one of the first questions I love to ask guests when they come on is, something a little bit about, when they got actually started. Because we all know that there's no handbook to being a college coach. Tell me about your first day, the first week, first month, after things are done with human resources or going through orientation, especially when no one gives you direction. I mean, you was at Pittsburgh as a graduate assistant, but now you're going to Manhattan. And you thrown into it with Steve Masiello. So tell me what that was like when you first, get to Manhattan.
Oh, I mean, the world was moving a little fast when I first got to Manhattan. So, of course, being in New York, it's a little change of pace. But, yeah, I mean, I think I kind of got to know the players. That was my first order of business. We went to a workout actually first. So that was my first thing. And after that workout, Stevie Mask kind of let me have it because I was quote unquote too quiet. He told me, he said, I could have got a manager to do what you did today. And that was kind of like, all right, now wake up. So that made me get in touch with the players, kind of take them out to lunch and get to know them. And that was the first order of business before I could do anything.
So that's good though, because I mean that's the thing about it. Like being with them, that's a plus. Just getting a relationship with them and getting an understanding of you, so that they'll know what to expect from you and what you can expect from them. We'll go right into recruiting. This is just interesting. What was your best and worst recruiting story? Because we all know that that's the lifeline of college athletics. But, what was your best and worst recruiting stories since you've been in the business?
Well, first, we it's the expectation of – it's the gift and the curse, right, of coaching with takeover. Because when guys hire me, they assume, he going to get every takeover kid. That's just not the case. It's probably 20 takeover coaches that's within college basketball. So, you got to think about that alone. So, I mean, I just built my own relationships outside of that. Probably worst recruiting story is we had just lost to Memphis. Yeah, I believe we had lost to Memphis. I was in Manhattan. And Masiello said, I don't want to see you for a week. I don't care what you do. Just go get some players. So that was kind of the hold on. What? So I was thrown for a little loop. But the best recruit story is, you recruit from your relationships and your home base, and it's kind of familiar to you, and it's a little easier because you recognize people and all that. So that's kind of the best worst.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Like, you know, you got in young. Like I said, you started in high school, and now you go to college. Even you at Pittsburgh as a GA, or, you know, now you go from GA to being an assistant right away, Manhattan to Towson. Like, what did you have to give up or sacrifice achieving your current level of success?
You probably have to say the social aspect. So that's the main thing, like time, because like as a GA, I felt like I had to be on call all the time. So whenever the players needed me, that was my role. 1, 2 in the morning, if they called, I'd be there. And that kind of helped my work ethic of like, yo, this is what's needed. Like your livelihood is in the hands of these young men. So you better know what they want and how they think and stuff like that. So that was kind of it, the time aspect of it.
So true, man. People don't understand, like, this is 355, 360 days out the year, 12 to 15 hours. And even when those 15 hours are low, you're still on call. Got to have your phone ready. Anything can happen at any time. A lot of people don't understand that portion of it. Scouting reports. We all take pride in those. Like, that is the, you know, you invest a lot of time into it. So as much time as you invest into it, you expect the players to be on top. Because you can always tell, like, whose scout it is. Like, by when the game gets on, who's jumping up and down, yelling, screaming, you know, in the person's face. Not saying you don't coach when it's not your scout, but you're a little bit more invested when it's your scout. You're very competitive. Yeah. Passion comes out. You know, sometimes you can have your best scout, and like you got the personnel, you have the play calls, you know, you got tendencies, you got everything. And the guys go out and don't play well. But then you can also, you know, go through a scouting report and, you know, you got the first 7 to 8 guys down. Here comes a ninth man. Hasn't played that much. Or a guy on the team who's 2 for his last 30 from 3. All of a sudden he makes, you know, you done told coach he's struggling a little bit from 3. Now he makes 3 or 4 in the game. And Coach Gary or Coach Mass is turning. They looking at you like, I thought you said he couldn't shoot. Coach, I didn't say he couldn't shoot. I said he's struggling shooting. So what was your best and worst scouting report?
Man, listen. So when I first get to Towson, right, we had a pretty good team. We playing Hofstra, actually. Man, I think I got the scout wired. We play semi-well. Your man, Jalen Ray, threw in a buzzer beater at the end of the game. You remember that? Man, I had to hear about that. I thought I had that from A to Z. But, you know, sometimes it just happens like that. And then sometimes you feel like the player's just not listening to you or they're not in tune with what's going on. And, you know, that sometimes that's how the chips fall. I think for me, I try to tell them, you know, I tell them some plays, but I tell them more tendencies. Because if they do something, if a team does something a little bit different for that game, they looking at the sideline, looking at you like, yo, I thought you said he was going to do this or he was going to do that. And I'm like, yo, they're still basketball players at the end of the day. If you cheat a play, they, you know, it's reaction. Read and react. They're reading and reacting you. So, I mean, I try not to get too hell-bent up on as far as like plays, more so tendencies of what a player does or what a team likes to do more. I hope that answered your question, the best and worst. I don't know about worse. I'm trying to think. I've never had a situation where the team came out and did nothing that I said was on the scouting report. I don't think I've had that.
Awesome. That means you're doing good work. What's the biggest challenge you think you've faced or experienced since you've been in college coaching?
Dealing with different personality types, I think, is and work styles. So, I mean, you know, everyone's have different work styles. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges. of people understanding somewhat my work style, because sometimes I'm more laid back, but that doesn't mean like some people may take it as like, yo, he's soft. That's not it at all. Never been soft. You know where I come from. You know the background. So my tone is just different when I talk to people. That's kind of more of my challenge than anything. I ain't no big yeller and scream. I'm not a yeller and screamer, so I'm not going, yo, what? That's not me. But I'm going to tell you straight to your face, like, yo, what are you doing? And you're going to tell what I mean by the tone I'm using. So that's kind of the biggest challenge of people recognizing that.
That's good, because it's going to lead into the next segment. Do you ever find that there are things about you that people might misunderstand? What are they?
I think that's it. Like, because I'm calm, I'm mild-mannered, I'm calm, I'm more to the background, I'm more laid back, that I don't get after it. And that's not the case at all. If you know me, you know I'm about it.
True.
You know,
you've had some good ones. You played for Coach Farello, great high school basketball coach, great program leader at Eleanor Roosevelt, who's now a part of Six. And now you end up playing and you go down to Walt Webb for 1 year down in San Antonio, and then you end up playing at Virginia Union, and now you get into coaching, work with Takeover, so definitely under Keith Stevens, his program, and now at the same, and then you got a chance to back at Roosevelt. I think Coach Strong was. I think you had the assistant who might have been with you, was the head coach now at Eleanor Roosevelt. So you're working with them, and now you go Jamie Dixon, you go Steve Marciello, and you go Pat Skerritt. So my thing to you is, you've had all these different guys. You know what you learned as a basketball player, but what do you try to teach your guys or your players besides basketball? Because you have learned life lessons under those guys, but what do you try to teach those guys about life?
I mean, I think I try to teach them how to be successful and what habits to have after the ball starts bouncing, because eventually it's going to stop. We all know that. Just how to conduct themselves, how to be respectful, and treat people how you want to be treated. That's a big thing of mine. If I see them, disrespecting the manager or something like that, like, we're not having that. We're not having that at all. So that's one of the main things I try to teach them, that respect level, and treating people how you want to be treated.
That's good stuff right there, man. Like, what are your best and worst memories in coaching?
My worst memories are these buzzer beaters that I keep getting. So at Pittsburgh, I was a part of the Tyler Ennis Syracuse joint. I was a part of that one. And then, again, the Hofstra one that Jalen Ray threw in. But probably I'm trying to think. A great memory is going to the tournament, of course. Like, we all want to go to the tournament. I went to the tournament with Pittsburgh. That was the one time I got to really experience it. But again, like, getting to meet all these kids, coming from their backgrounds and somewhat having an impact on their life, that's kind of a win for me. Like, even the guys that transfer, they still call me. I still check on them. They still check on me. So, like, it's a relationship thing for me. That's the biggest thing that's the thing I love about it, building these relationships. Even with coaches, like, I've known you forever, so it's easy for me to pick up the phone and call you, even if I'm dealing with something or I'm not dealing with something, just to check in. So that's the main thing, relationships.
So true, man. Like, now, what has been the most stressful situation you faced?
Stressful? I don't really get stressed too much. I mean, the thing I don't like is the losing part. I get to college probably, and some stops I've had is the most losing I've ever done, ever. So that's a little different for me. And then trying to get some of these players to realize how hard you got to play and how difficult that this level is probably, I would say, the biggest challenge. That would probably be the biggest challenge. Getting them to recognize, like, this ain't because of your last year buckets don't count this year. So like it's a new year, you have to take a new approach. Everybody's changing, everybody's working out. What are you gonna do to separate yourself? So that's kind of the challenge that I have for the players and even coaches sometimes.
What is the strangest thing you have, that a player has done outside of basketball?
Strangest thing a player, that's a good question. I gotta think about that. The strangest thing a player has done.
Strangest, craziest, wild, are you like, wow, I couldn't believe this happened, or any of that stuff?
You know what?
You don't have to say no names. No names. Don't have to be involved. Just
I don't think it's crazy though. One player went missing after a game and missed a flight. A coach had to stay back with him and catch another flight. Like that's probably one of the craziest things that happened. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've had a coach hide in the bathroom before after a game. That was wild. I ain't gonna say no names or what stop it was at, but yeah, that's probably the craziest.
Those are pretty funny. Those are a little strange. Those are definitely strange.
Yeah, so I don't. Yeah.
Like I said, you work for some good guys. Jamie Dixon, obviously he's down at TCU now. Like I said, Steve Max. And no, we're not looking for a job right now, Pat Scary. But like, if you had a chance to you see some guys outside of it that had a chance to work with some guys you admire or you like their style, kind of fits your personality. Who would you say would be a guy that you'd be like, man, I would like to pick his brain. I would like to figure out what he does and what ticks. Who would you say those guys would be?
I think it's a guy slept on who actually I've reached out to and he's been nothing but open to me. But Nathan Davis at Bucknell. I think he's really, really good and he's slept on a lot. But he's a guy that I've reached out to. I picked his brain. I like Mike Bray. I like Johnny Dawkins. So it's a few guys that I like that, I've tried to reach out to or I have reached out to and I've spoke to. Jamian has been open. Jamian Christian has been open with me. So I can't leave him out. When I reach out to him, he's always responded and kind of helped me out. I'm trying to think, of course, Jamie. Stevie Mass is there when I need him. So I got a good little network that helped me out.
That's good. No, that's really good. Man, we know about the basketball side, getting to the tournament, things of that nature. But is there anything else, the biggest accomplishment you think you've experienced since you've been in college coaching?
Biggest accomplishment? While I was a college coach, I got married and had kids. That's probably the most important thing that's happened to me. Building a family, growing up. I think that's the biggest accomplishment right now. I don't think nothing basketball related equates to that.
That's awesome right there. I'll take that. Now, what movie or TV show title best describes your week?
My week?
Yes, sir.
Best movie? You said movie, right?
Movie or TV show title?
Oh, TV show title. Man, you put me on the spot with that one. Movie. Now, the title has to describe the week or the movie has to describe the week? That's the real question. Hold on. Just the title describing my week or what the movie is for people that have seen the movie?
I'm gonna let you answer that. That's gonna be you. I know you're trying to stall it a bit.
I'm trying to finesse it. I'm trying to finesse it. I'm trying to think.
Some people be like, oh man, daddy daycare. They'll just come out with right now, pandemic is easy. But what would you think?
When I was in New York, it was Fast and Furious. You got to keep up with that pace out there. right now during the pandemic, Contagion. You seen that movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in the crib with it. I'm chilling. I ain't doing that. I'm chilling.
I like it. I like it. What's your favorite word or phrase? Now I've been in your practice, so I'm gonna just see. I've coached against you for the last few years. But like, what is that favorite word or phrase that you use a lot?
I got a few of them, but I took this one from Stevie Madden. Just finish your breakfast. It's really a Jay-Z line, but finish your breakfast, please. That's the main one you'll hear a lot.
Finish your breakfast. All right, finish your breakfast.
We got to finish that. We don't play with our food. Don't play with your food.
I got you. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Be yourself. Be yourself. No matter what boss you have, don't try to be like them. You can only do things that's in your personality type or who you are. Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying I won't change some things and take away things from them, but it's still going to be who I am at the core at the end of the day. So that's probably the best advice I got.
Good stuff. What does success mean to you?
Success, that's relative. Successful people changes all the time. I think for me, if I can impact these young men and I have a relationship where they call me, I'm at some of their weddings, I think, and have an impact on their, know their whole family and things like that, I think that's success for me. That basketball stuff gonna take care of itself. I'm not worried about that. If you really put in work, that success is easy.
Awesome, man. Where's your happy place? Like, where is that? You got bad laws, recruiting. Like, where's like you can go to mentally, physically, whatever? Where's your happy place?
In the house with the family. My 3-year-old got enough energy to take anybody out of a funk. She make all losses in the wins when I see her, and she running around the house all crazy. So I'm cool. I'm cool. This quarantine ain't bother me none. I like being in the crib with the family.
Awesome. If you had to choose 3 adjectives to describe yourself, because you're not a self promoter. Like, you had to come up with 3, which would you choose?
Respectful. I mean, I would say hardworking, but that's relative who you ask and how they work. So hard work to people is different things. So I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say loyal. You said 3, right? So yep. I got respectful, loyal. I'm gonna say committed.
3 good ones. 3 really good ones.
Yeah.
And I think this may be the first time I asked this question to anyone on all the shows I've had.
What's up?
What job would you be terrible at? Like, what job? Like, this seems like, man, I'll be bad at that job. And it don't even have to be related to athletics, basketball. Like, what job would you be terrible at?
I wasn't even thinking about athletics. What job would I be terrible at? What job would I be terrible at? I'm trying to think. Listen, man. I don't know, because I just made a drive. I would have said a truck driver because I don't like driving far. But I just made a drive that I surprised myself by doing. So I'm not going to do that one. I'll probably say, Man, that's a tough one.
I'm gonna let you think about it.
Let me think on that one.
Before we go, what qualities do you value in the people with whom you spend time?
That's caring. Got to be caring. Trustworthy. Not too serious, so they gotta like to have a good time. Not too wild though. Not too wild. Respectful, of course. Gotta be a mutual respect. You show respect to get it. Yeah, I think those are the main ones.
That's
confident. Gotta be confident. Gotta be confident. I can't hang around somebody. I gotta keep picking you up every 5 minutes. Like, be confident in what you do. I'm gonna give you some confidence, but you got to be confident in yourself enough to know, like, all right, we cool standing beside each other.
I love that. Like, what person and or event has had the most influence on your life?
I mean, my mother, of course. But I mean, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, my mother, my man Jamil, Keith. It's been a lot of. I've been blessed to have some good people. Even you gave me some good advice. We ain't gonna tell what it was, but you gave me some great advice. We'll leave that to, if they want to ask, they can ask that separately. You know what I mean? So I've been blessed to have some good people.
That's good. I mean, moms is always, that's the, always say parents come involved. Mom is always a big influence on a lot of lives, man. How has coaching affected your life?
See, I mean, in a great way. I was fighting coaching actually, because one of my college coaches told me that I should be a coach, and I'm like, you tripping. I ain't gonna be no coach, thinking I'm better than I was. And then I got the coaching, and I like the impact that I could have on people, and that kind of brought me joy. So that was kind of, it's brought me joy. That's the impact it has on me. It brings me joy to do it.
Awesome. Now we're gonna ask again. What job would you be terrible? What job? And I'm gonna just ask you before we ask this last question.
What job would I be terrible at? The bill collectors that call?
Yeah. Yes.
I'd be terrible at that. I'm not gonna keep calling nobody. Listen, man, either you gonna pay it or you not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that person. I can't do that. I'd be terrible at that job.
Love it. I love it. Now, knowing what you know now, and you just said, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, you probably had no aspirations thinking about it, but knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self to prepare for as an assistant coach?
Try to pick as many people's brain as possible within coaching, or in the field that you want to go into. Just people that you admire, even leaders at the university, at your school, some of your coaches, if you respect them enough. Those are people that, like, you should reach out to, talk to, listen to, and see how it really is. Tell them you want the truth, not the political answer, too.
I love it. That's what guys need to hear. They need to hear the truth. Well, look, man, I want to thank you again, Branden, for being a guest on the show and being unmasked. Anything you want to say to the viewers before we go?
No, man, I appreciate you having me on. I'm always available. Anybody that want to talk to me or hear more, I'm cool. So, just reach out.
All right. Well, thank you, viewers, for watching another great show. Stay tuned for the next guest as we get them unmasked. See you next time, and stay safe.